Hey coach, we have just implemented SAFe in our organization and they ask us to set up a 2 days meeting. 2 days! For me, 1 hour is already long. Talk about 2 days! That's insane! And we have to bring everyone, every people, completely insane! Yes, my friend. In the SAFe framework, we propose the PI planning, Program Increment planning, that lasts 2 days, and it's a mandatory meeting. But what will we do during two days? 2 days is too long, and there's 100 people. How to run a 100 people meeting during 2 days? How? And for what? Oh, if you want to know what we will do during these 2 days and how to run this huge meeting, you have to stay until the end of this video and put some like, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't run away like a thief. Hello everybody, T.Dy from I Love Consulting. Today I will show you how to run and what will it do during the 2 days of a PI planning. The PI planning, the Program Increment planning. Program Increment in SAFe lasts 10 weeks, so it contains 5 sprints of 2 weeks. So just like in an Agile Scrum, you have to plan poker planning or sprint planning. In a SAFe framework, we have to plan the Program Increment planning to plan the work for the next 5 sprints. So why do we have to regroup all these people in the PI planning during 2 days? The PI planning regroup all the people. So what I mean to all the people is the management, and the business owner, and the developer of the train, of all the stakeholders from the business. We have to regroup all of them because we have to plan the features to implement for the next program increment. Just like in an Agile Scrum, each team plan the next user story to implement for the next sprint. In Agile SAFe, you have to plan the features to implement for the next program increment, so for the next 10 weeks. And it's very important to know that because we are in SAFe is a regroupment of several agile teams. So each team plan his work for the next product increment, focus the dependencies with the other team. To summarize, plan the work on the features for the next product increment, so for the next 10 weeks. And second point, to focus on the dependencies between the teams. So you need to have everyone in the same place because the purpose of the PI planning is to plan the work for the next product increment focused on the dependencies. So each team have to negotiate and to deal with the other team, to prioritize his task according to the dependencies they can have with other teams. So why do we need also to have business owner and marketing or stakeholders during the PI planning? Because this person will share with the developer the vision and the strategy of the product they have to implement. Because the PI planning is a very huge meeting, it must be prepared by each team. So the product owner of each team have to prepare before the meeting the user story he wants to plan during the product increment. So the user story he will create them and write them from the features he will receive by his product manager of the program level of SAFe. So the Scrum Master have to calculate the velocity for the next program increment. So for the next program increment, in each sprint, the Scrum Master must know how many the points the team can take for each sprint of the program increment. It seems very complicated. Who is running the PI planning? The RTE, so the Release Train engineer, is in charge of running this meeting for his train. Oh, if that's so, good luck! So that means that if there is several trains, each RTE have to run the PI planning for his train, for his only train. If there's several trains, so the pre-planning is at the same date, at the same day. On each train, I recommend you to have each train in a different room, but in the same place, in the same building, so each train can work safely and smoothly in his room, but he can go to meet other train in the other room if they want to discuss about dependencies or problems or design. Is there a summary for these 2 days? Because if during 2 days all the people always talk each other and negotiate about user story, it could be total disorder, just like in a market. Yes, of course, for these 2 days there is an agenda. So the first morning is for the presentation. So if you want to share some messages with your developer, it's the moment. So for example, the business or the marketing will often display and share with the teams the trajectory in the near future, so they can bring vision and sense on purpose to the teams, so the teams know why they have to implement the product and the features for the next increments. The same for the architect, so the architect can recommend or share the new architecture vision on some best practice for the development. And the manager can also share some messages to increase the motivation of the team, or in contrario to put some more pressure, but it's not recommended. Personally, I use to perform team buildings during this morning. Of course, you don't have to apply exactly the agenda proposed by SAFe, just like the big picture of SAFe. You don't have to reproduce exactly the same process. For example, if you don't need to share others' message when you already shared, you can start plan the work from the morning. It's not a problem. Don't feel obligated to apply the agenda of the SAFe. You can adapt this agenda to your constraint, and to your needs, and to your context. There's no problem. Then the most important part of the PI planning is the team breakout session. So within each team, each member have to estimate the work to perform for the next increment, and they perform by the poker planning. If you don't know what is poker planning, just check this video. And the product owner is responsible to share and to give the prioritization of each task. And the Scrum Master put the task and add to the team board according to the velocity of the team. For each user story, if they detect some dependencies, you have to meet the other team and negotiate the work of each team in accordance with the dependency and with the prioritization of the work. So who go meet the other team to negotiate? It's the product owner. So each product owner have to discuss together to plan their own work according to their own dependencies. But sometimes the product owner can be supported by his Scrum Master, because he have the vision of some information, just like the velocity. One breakout session lasts approximately 3 hours, so at each hours there it occurs what we call a Scrum meeting. So what is a Scrum meeting? Is a little meeting when each Scrum Master will group themselves and report to the RTE the progress of the plan. For example, if there's one Scrum Master who reports to the RTE that his team encounters some difficulties and impediment to progress into the plan of the work for the next project increment, for the next program increment, the RTE have to help the team to remove or to avoid this impediment. Very important too, each team have to, during this breakout session, they have to write the risk that they have identified for the next program increment. They also have to write the objectives business or marketing for the product increment and commit on these objectives. And they also have to fill the program board with the features that they are planning with the dependencies that we have identified with the other teams. At the end of the first day, we will perform what we call the first review. So each Scrum Master of each team will present to the entire train the progress of the plan for the next program increment. And it will take about 3 or 5 minutes maximum per teams. At the very end of the day occurs the management review. So what is the management review? It's a meeting which will group the product owner and the high management, and they summarize the first day, try to identify if there are some difficulties or issues on counters during this first day. If it's the case, the manager helps the product owner and they decide together how to resolve the issues. The second day, if during the management review there was some decision or some adjustment that was taken, the manager will share this decision and adjustment to all the entire train, so to all the teams. So during the morning of the second day, the team continue to progress and to plan their work for the next program increment, and they have to fill the program board with the features and with the dependencies. During the 2 sessions of the team breakout, the business owner have to take a look to each board of the teams of each teams and to assign a business value to each objectives. So, for example, if you have 3 objectives, the business owner will assign to each objectives a business value, and this business value will help the team to prioritize the task. So I recommend you to assign the business value during the first team breakout, or not at the end of the second session of team breakout, because it would be too late and it could be in opposite with the plan of the team. It's possible for each team to define or to identify some stretch objectives. What we call the stretch objectives are just objectives, so just like the real objectives with a business value. But stretch objectives are objectives which we have identified, the team have identified some item that they can't control, just like dependencies, for example. And because of these unknown items, they can't ensure that they can reach the objectives for the next program increment. So very important, at the end of the morning for the second day, each team have to fill the program board, and the program board have to be finished. And important too, they have to fill the risk board. The risk board is a board which will group each risk identified by each team on their own board. The risk board is composed by 4 parts. The resolved risk, so there's not longer a concern because there's risk that you have identified during the PI planning, but you have also resolved them during the PI planning. The owned risk, so that's the risk you have not resolved this risk during the PI planning, but you have identified someone to resolve this problem after the PI planning. The accepted risk, so there is a risk which no solution, we have not identified any solution or any way to avoid this problem, so this problem have to be accepted by everyone. The mitigated risk, so there are risks but we know that they exist, but we have some plans to avoid or to reduce the impact on the plan. So at the end of the second morning, each Scrum Master of each team have to present to the entire train the plan for the next program increment. So he have to present the content of his team plan and also the risk identified by his team within 3 or 5 minutes maximum. So after the final review, the RTE proceeds to what we call a confidence vote. So each participant, each members, each developer, each person give his feeling of for reaching his own objectives by a score from 1 to 5. 1, I'm not confident at all. 5, it's easy to reach. So in the theory, they said if the average of the vote is under 3, the train have to reprint the works. After 2 days of meeting, you really think that all the people want to stay here more? No, of course not. They all vote 3. Safe. To perform the confidence vote, you can just raise the hand, but I don't recommend it because you will have 100 people who raise hand, and it could be very difficult to make an average. So I could recommend you to use some apps because there are some apps very convenient to perform a confidence vote. And it's not finished yet because at the very end of the PI planning, the team have to perform what we call a brief retrospective of the event. Personally, I perform it very faster because I ask to each team to only identify 3 items for what went well and 3 items to improve for the next event. And each team have only 1 minute to present his ideas to the entire train. This retrospective is used to identify items that could be improved for the next event of PI planning. It's not a retrospective about the previous program increment. So this is the end of this video. If you like the video, put some likes, subscribe to my channel, share this video to your family, friends and colleagues, and share some comments right below. And I say you bye bye, see you next time.